Hi folks, Matt the Cruz from domainwebstudio.com, networkempire.com, and let's get started. In this video, I'm going to show you how we use the blog builder to rapidly build out our sites, and I'll show you a few interesting things as we go through this short video. The first thing I want to touch on is what is silo architecture for the guys who have never heard of it or aren't too familiar with how it's constructed. To make it simple, basically what we're doing is we are taking conversations that we want to have with our people that we're writing and speaking to via our websites. We're keeping those conversations within groups, and the entire group is about a theme. Okay, if that doesn't make sense to you, basically what you're doing is you're grouping like content in clusters and you're mapping them out in your silo structure. Now in DWS this becomes very easy, and in the training with Network Empire we show you how to go about doing all these type of steps. But typically this is the construction or framework that we're going to build when we map out our sites. So we're going to have our index page, our silos, our categories, and our posts. You'll see that the silos are within a container, and that's what we call a theme. The categories are also within a container, and that's what we call a sub-theme or a nested silo. And typically the way this works is the supporting keywords will lie down over here in the post level, and they'll be supporting a specific category. The categories will then support the silo, so you can see kind of multiple categories underneath a silo, and the silos support the top level domain. And what happens is when we backlink to our sites and we start backlinking to our posts, what happens is the page rank runs up and down the silo and supports the category, and from the category it supports the silo and from the top level domain, and so all the way back down again, and you get this perpetual loop which keeps on running that round and round and round, and allows the sites to rise through the search engines very rapidly. Now there's nothing mystical about this, there's not black hat, there's no cloaking, there's none of this weird stuff. This is just the proper way of constructing your content so that it makes sense to search engines as well as your users. So I can speak for ages on this, but I'm not going to. But let's rather just get involved in building the project and seeing what the kit does. So when you download your file, you'll get the DWS WP silo builder kit. And when we open it up, we'll have two files. We'll have the plugin, which is zip for you, and we'll have the blog builder. The blog builder, when you run it for the first time, you may get an antivirus warning. Just flag it as trusted so that it runs. The reason for this is it's called a false positive. If you're not sure what that means, do a search on the internet and you'll read up on false positives. But because the bot is automatically communicating with the internal browser that's built in, it doesn't use your web computer's browsers. The software's got its own browser, so it's totally isolated. Because they're communicating with each other, sometimes the antiviruses pick them up as viruses trying to do something on your machine. That's not the case here. If you don't trust the file, feel free to take it and upload it to any of the online antivirus checks, and you'll see that most of the major search engines don't pick up anything in it. Okay, the WordPress plugin, make sure that you keep the plugin in the format that we're giving it to you. You can see that the files are in the root. That's how it's got to be to import into WordPress. Okay, especially if you're going to get the bot to go and do it. If you're going to be using the bot to build out your site, what you need to do is change your htaccess and your WP content folders, change the permissions to 777 before you start. What it's going to do then, it'll go and configure the site, install the plugins, do all of the work it has to do, and from that point onwards it will come back and finish up the task. The bot will remind you up front to change the permissions to 777, and at the end of the process it will remind you to change them back to 755 so that you lock it back down again. Right, so when you install your WordPress site, I recommend always using FTP and uploading the files and adding your salts, as they call them, salts in WordPress. And in your WP config file, if we edit this file here and we scroll up, you basically want to go to WordPress and you want to copy and paste these keys in over here, and what that does is it secures your website for you and makes your website more tight, so guys can't hack it and inject backlinks in your content and just cause a mess in your site trying to get their sites ranked from your site. I'll cover more of that in the next video where we talk about security and introduce you to a few plugins which work really well. Okay, so that's a few things we have to do. Basically, to start off, WP content, HT access, change it to 777, and then we're ready to go. So I'm going to fire up the plugin, sorry, the bot, and as it loads, you'll see you got the instructions of what you can do. The first thing you want to do is you want to click on Tools, Account Details, and you want to fill in all the information that you can be using over here. Okay, so typically you'll be on the my.dws live server for your files, and if we go to DWS, right, once we log into DWS, we can actually come and choose the project we want to work on. So I'm going to work with the credit repair file over here, and we'll use these details within our project settings. But before I do that, all you need is your cluster ID, the profile ID, your DWS username and password. Fill in your WordPress login to the admin screen, the admin or the username and password used to access your blog, and then for your host name, typically it's always going to be localhost, and your FTP username and password for the plugin to go off and do what it has to do. So I'm going to pause this video, and when I return, we can carry on. Right, so what I've done now, I've filled in all my information, and what I've done is I've set up a brand new website. Okay, so typically when you set up a new website, you'll get the hello world post by default, and there's a few little things we have to just delete, but those take a few minutes, and we can just do those manually when we just fine tune our website. So what I'm going to do now is I've gone to DWS, grabbed my cluster ID and my profile ID. For my project, you can see we've got 3 silos, 23 categories, 5 supporting articles. And in this example, I've given you a mixture of articles with content, articles without content, so we can look at the whole story within the framework once it's actually mapped out. So I'm going to run along now. I'm going to tell it to install my SEO Ultimate plugin. I want it to configure the SEO Ultimate plugin for me. I want it to install the WordPress plugin. I'm going to point to where my WPS silo plugin is. I want to import the project from DWS, the primary website, and I want to have it published. Okay, and I wanted to configure the WordPress settings. So what I want to do now is just get a stopwatch running. Right, so I'm going to click start, that's running, and I'm going to click run. So what this is going to do, it's going to run off to DWS, it's going to log in, it's fetching my information, it's logging into the blog, it's going to remind me to set my folder, so I've done that, so I click OK, and I press run again to continue, and straight away it's going to start installing the plugins for myself. So it'll go fetch the latest version of SEO Ultimate. It's going to use the FTP and upload it. Now because we changed it to 777, it's going to allow WordPress to do what it has to do. It's going to activate the plugin for myself. It's then going to go and configure the WordPress plugin for us. And what it does is this goes through SEO Ultimate and gives us all the optimal settings that are the best for working with the silo framework. The SEO Ultimate is a very powerful plugin which gives you a lot of options and makes managing your stuff possible. If you see you don't have submission permissions, don't worry about that. The bot knows how to deal with that. So now it's going to start installing the plugin for us, for the importer. Right, so what you can see over here, we've got the DWS silo builder imported over there. So the very next thing it's going to do now is download and save our XML file for ourselves. Set it to publish like we've asked it. You can see publish. And I've kept the silo shortcode in the content body off. If you turn it on and you import, what it does is it'll put an excerpt within the content body of the file. And the next thing it's going to do now is go off and configure my whole all the basic WordPress settings. If you look here, you can see that the search engine is turned off. By default, it's turned on to make the site active, and when it's turned on, 2 additional bits of information will be added to your website. So there we've finished. Let's just go look at our stopwatch and stop that. 3 minutes and 22 seconds, and effectively we've gone and built a whole website in draft mode. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to continue with this exercise and do a few cleanup options. But what I was saying was, when you got your privacy settings set off so that the search engines aren't indexing your site, there's 2 things. We add a bad word list, and we also add a ping list. If it's turned off, we don't add it. If it's turned on, they will get added by default, so we build out a whole ping list for you. So we just want to do some housework at the moment. So let's turn our stopwatch on again. So that's running. So the first thing I want to do is go to my posts, and you can see in the post there's all our stuff. I want to get rid of that. So I got rid of the hello world post. I go to trash and I empty it. I get rid of it for good. We can look at our categories. You can see we've got 2 pages of categories. Now if we want to see everything, we can basically add our screen options, and we can say show us 50. If you want to manually add a page to the website, what you need to do is you need to create a page, and where you got the name of the page, you need to make a category identical to the page. That's all you have to do. So I'm going to get rid of the sample page. We don't want that as well. Go to my trash. I'm going to empty the trash. So there we go, our site's clean. So there's our post, all that kind of stuff done. In the silo mapping, you can see we've got 2 shortcodes, right? If we copy and paste that shortcode into the body of our text, it'll put contextual navigational menus with excerpts. If we get the silo importer, we can add the stuff on by default when we import it in. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get the appearance. I'm just going to use the default theme over here. We've tried different ones. We'll change themes shortly, but I want to show you how we actually assign a theme. So we go to our pages, we go to our screen options. This is set that to 100 so we can see everything and deal with it all very quickly. I'm going to select that over there, and I'm going to select edit, bulk actions, edit, click apply, and on the template I want to assign the sidebar template. Okay, and that's so I can drop my navigation in. So I click update. That's updated everything for myself over there. Then what I want to do is I want to come to my appearance and my widgets, and I'm going to look for this widget over here. So first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of all this. I don't like them, so I'll just take them out. It's up to you how you build your site, and you can fiddle as much as you want. I like to have my websites light, and I want to have as little things running in the background as possible. So I'm just going to get rid of all these quickly here. I'll make sure that the sidebars are empty, the footers are empty. What I want to do is just drag that into my main sidebar, and that's my job done. Okay, that's my navigational structure done. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to come to my menus. Go to appearances, our menus, home, credit score, bad credit, credit check. We're going to click the add to menu. We're going to shift this up. I'm going to save that. Okay, and we're going to select the top bar menu. We're going to save that. And that's our website built. So let's go and have a look. And this has taken us just under 9 minutes 39 seconds. I've built a silo structured website in WordPress. Okay, so we go to dashboard. Right click, open a new tab. The race is on. Home, bad credit, credit score, credit check. 9 minutes and 58 seconds. 10 minutes on the dot, I've built a whole website, silo structured, 38 categories. So here's our website. This is what we have. Right, so what we got here is the bad credit silo. I've shown you the relationship. Now what we're going to do is in DWS, we've seen that the how to fix bad credit has a nested silo. So we're going to click on that. And what happens next is we've dropped down into the category level. So if you look at the URL, you'll see you've got bad credit, how to fix bad credit. And in the structure, we've dropped down to this category over here, how to fix bad credit. Now, what happens is, as soon as you do that, it exposes the supporting articles for how to fix bad credit. And the link now doesn't link back to the domain, it links back up to your actual silo. So we now see from bad credit, the category, we're linking back up to the silo. Okay. Now when we drop down into the supporting article level, we've got a 4-tiered site. So we've got the top level domain, which is the first tier. We've got the silo, which is bad credit. We've got the category, which is how to fix bad credit. And then finally the supporting article, how to fix credit free. Okay. And everything is in sync and working. And here at the bottom of the site, there is no more links. It's only linking back up to the silos and the home page of the site. So when we click on credit score, you can now see we're into the next silo. We don't see any other links, and this demonstrates the very tight theme structure that we have. So what I want to show you next is I'm going to go to bad credit, okay, and I'm going to edit the page, and I'm going to drop in the shortcode which inserts excerpts into our page. I've just gone to the DWS silo builder, I've clicked on settings, I've copied the shortcode, and you can effectively grab that token and you can inject it anywhere into the content. So you can put it above, you can put it below, you can put it anywhere that you want, right? So if we click update now, what we're going to see is in the middle of our text, underneath the disadvantages of cards, we'll see what's happened. So if I refresh this page, there we go. So there we've nested contextual anchor text, which is mirroring our silo structure up there within our content, and these links can help you with your on-page optimization if you want to have them done. My suggestion is this: by default we're leaving them off. You can have them turned on under the silo importer settings. So if you want to have them imported when you import the stuff, simply just make sure it's turned on before you import the XML. You can always go to DWS, fetch your XML file, point it, and upload it at the same time as well. So you can see there's our primary website, there's our XML file, and that will build out your whole site for you. So there you go. Within 10 minutes we've effectively built our silo structured website, which is 100% accurate, and all we need to do now is go through and fine tune and do our on-site optimization. There's our structures, the whole site is done and dusted. If we want to change the themes, we can do so simply by clicking appearance, themes. I will try this one here. Let's activate this one. And if you look at our website now, that should be different. There we go. There's our silo navigation. There's our article. there's a home. Obviously we'll have to just go in and fix up things again because we changed the theme, so there will be some editing to do. But guys, there you go. We built silo structured websites literally in 10 minutes using Domain Web Studio and the Silo Builder kit. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.